last 5 at home against the Canes. And again, the last 4 meetings right down the middle, 2 wins apiece. So Virginia to kick it away. Brendan Farrell gets us started this afternoon. This is Smith at the 1. On the return for Miami. Cut at the 20. He's got the 30 and out of bounds. Brashard Smith. Quality return to start the game of 34 yards for the Hurricanes. So it will be the first career start for Jake Garcia, redshirt freshman, Whittier, California. Quite a road to this spot. Tyler Van Dyke out with the upper body injury. They hand the ball to Garcia, who was impressive, James, at the start of the second half last week against Duke with a couple of TD passes.
Well, in any opportunity prior to Duke as well.
Miami starts on the ground.
Henry
Parrish with the run. Sophomore transfer from Ole Miss for 6 yards.
Yeah, Parrish starting his college career there at Ole Miss before transferring back out of Columbus High School, just like his head coach. That's a nice way to start it. Little pistol formation here on down number 2. And
Ball start. Offense, number 73. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
You know, Tom, you're trying to get that running game going. The first play of the game, hey, look, we've got Parrish. He's healthy. You run it and get 6 yards, and then you go backwards. You back it up the other way. It's little penalties like that just to kill a momentum. And it's, you know, so early in this football game, not necessarily any momentum built, but it's certainly not the way you wanted to start a football game when you're trying to clean it up a little bit here. Second down and 10.
Garcia, a little play fake, looks over the middle, has a man. That could be first down yardage at the 45. Teams were pointing in different directions, and Miami will maintain possession. Frank Latson Jr. on the catch for 10.
Ja'Kai Clark is back out there at center. He's been banged up. Good protection by he and the rest of the offensive linemen. Ball was out. But the Canes have the football, and the sticks will move. There's a look at the junior from Loganville, Georgia, the center Ja'Kai Clark. They needed him, too, because Jonathan Dennis, who filled in for him, got injured in the Duke game last week.
37th career start for the center, Ja'Kai Clark. That's Henry Parrish Jr. A modest gain on first down. Cam Butler on the tackle.
Parrish, as he came back last week, and here he'll split out an empty set there for Garcia, and he's split wide down here at the bottom of your screen, this little bunch set. But Parrish averaged almost 6 yards a carry against the Blue Devils last week.
11 carries for 63 yards for Parrish to lead the team. That's deflected and incomplete. A little bit behind Frank Latson Jr. with Cypress on the coverage for Virginia. All right, well, we have a sec. Our impact players brought to you by your local Toyota dealers.
Excellent job there by Cypress on that last play. Brashard Smith is healthy, and oh, by the way, so is Restrepo. So they've got some receivers back. And so far this year, it's been Chico Bueno over there on the Virginia defense. Bennett has been fantastic. 7 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss in the win last week. What do the Who's have for him here on 3rd and long?
Miami tries to swing it out. It's incomplete to Henry Parrish Jr. That's going to bring up 4th down for the Canes. They've been pretty good this season, James, on 3rd down at 45%. 5th in the conference, but not this time.
They got to help these quarterbacks out. It was too many drops, even when Van Dyke was back there. Tyler Van Dyke throwing the football around too, from some sure-handed football players, playmakers for this Miami team. A nice 3-and-out there. It looked like they would have had it snuffed out regardless, but still, Parrish with the ball in his hands out there can be dangerous, but they get off the field and have to punt it away.
Lou Headley, the senior punter from Australia. This is Davey waving his arms, looking for the fair catch, and he makes it at about the 18-yard line. So Ethan Davey making that fair catch, and that punt was 35 yards from Headley. So Virginia with its 3-4 record coming off that win, Bates. That was last Thursday on the road at Georgia Tech, 16-9. They did roll up 411 yards of total offense, and Brennan Armstrong, veteran quarterback, and that's most all-time at Virginia with 57 touchdown passes. He did that in that win against the Jackets. Lefty wants to heave it. Has a man. It's too far for Wicks. Dontavian Wicks had a step on the defender, and the ball was just too far with Ivy defending.
Oh, my goodness. Brennan Armstrong. You know, and this is just how the offense, how it's gone for this Virginia football team on the offensive side of the ball here this year. I mean, playmaker number one, Brennan Armstrong, and one of the best playmakers last year in the ACC, Dontavian Wicks. They hook up on that last year, but for whatever reason, unable to get on the same page here this year. Wasted opportunity.
Miami was ready for the run from Virginia. Leonard Taylor right in the middle of it. Parrish Jones was the ball carrier, and the ball's back to the 15 with a loss of 3.
This is a strong defensive front, and not just the first wave. The front four, Akeem Mesidor, there you saw Taylor, Darrell Jackson, and Harvey. But behind them, they go about 8-10 deep, so they can stay fresh for downs like this.
32% on third down. That's 12th in the ACC. Armstrong running out of the pocket. He's got the first down and more right up the center of the field. Brennan Armstrong with a scamper of 20 yards.
Well, the pressure is coming. They get upfield, but a little bit too far upfield, those two ends, and too much of a gap there for Armstrong to tuck it and go. And very, very gritty quarterback. The Canes had to defend one last week, and Riley Leonard, a guy who can tuck it and go get it done with his legs. Brennan Armstrong does just that. You got him backed up to a 3rd and 13 near their own goal line. What a punch to the gut for this Cane defense, who's got a bunch of athletes that can fly around, but Armstrong gets him there.
Wants to pass. Quick flip. Incomplete. Now for our impact players, brought to you by your local Toyota dealers with Virginia on offense, James.
All right, Wicks, well, he had a chance to make me look really good right there just a few moments ago, but the ball a little bit too strong. Wicks had the big play against Georgia Tech, plays that he had all over the field last year. They're hoping that that's the start of something special, and a very special cornerback for the Canes. Tyreek Stevenson is one of the best around. Very physical corner as well.
Out on the edge, Xavier Brown near the 40-yard line. Cameron Kitchens on the tackle, and a 5-yard gain for Virginia.
Xavier Brown, a nice game. And that win over Georgia Tech, 12 carries, 45 yards, just a freshman out of Lexington. And talking with Tony Elliott, he feels like some of these freshmen have hit what they call the freshman wall when you get this deep into a college football season. They're like, whoa, this is pretty long. So they tried to rest him up a little bit here as of late. There's a big 3rd down now.
Armstrong over the middle. That falls to the turf and incomplete. He was looking for Keaton Thompson, number 99. Well defended. Tyreek Stevenson, just mentioned him as the impact player on defense for Miami.
Yeah, well, Stevenson's smart as well. You know, he knows where they're trying to run those routes at. He knows where the first down sticks are. Armstrong wants a flag, but he won't get it. And Tyreek Stevenson, there's more plays like that where that came from for the transfer from Georgia.
Daniel Sparks is the punter for Virginia. Flag is out.
Well, that's going to be a free first down, isn't it?
Jeff Flanagan is our referee. Let's get the word from Flanagan.
There's no foul on the play.
They're saying he got back and nobody jumped for Virginia.
See Coach Cristobal, James, just pointing at his temple. Be smart out there. Just be smart and relax. That's what I tell Bates before the game.
You point at the temple throughout, right?
Jacoby George let it bounce near the 20. And so Miami will have the football. Both teams have had the ball once, and we are scoreless. That punt was 39 yards from Sparks. There is no score on the grounds of the University of Virginia.
Is it time for this offense to finally break out and live up to the expectations? All these guys returning. We saw it on play number 1 from scrimmage, and they didn't get paid with that one, but they've got to get paid in the end zone.
Trying to run it with Parrish. That's some determined running. Got 3 yards. Clary on the tackle. Parrish, the leading rusher for this team a week ago in the loss against Duke at home, 45-21. James, he went for 63 yards to lead the team.
Watch how smooth Chico Bennett, if we can get a chance here. Watch 15 coming from the left. I mean, look how quick he gets back there, and then able, even after he misses, they're able to track down the back. Very bursty.
Garcia to the left side, breaking a tackle. Keyshawn Smith close to the marker there at the 30. They got 7 yards on the play, and that will be good enough for first down yardage. Cohen King on the tackle. Cypress also in there on the play.
Couple nice throws early for Jake Garcia. It's been pretty good protection for him as well. They're on that first drive.
Early on the field, the runner made the line of game for a first down. That play is under further review.
An official review.
Okay.
Did he get to the line to gain is the question. So the deliberation will commence, and we'll come back with the decision. Is it a Miami first down? High win on Thursday. M.J. Morris, third-string quarterback for NC State. 3 TD passes and all in the second half. This pass is going to go out past the 40. Colby Young. And folks, if you have not seen Colby Young this season as he goes for 11 yards, you're in for a trick and a treat today watching 88.
Yeah, you can do without the tricks if you're on the Virginia defense, because he's tricked plenty of these defenses as he grows up in a hurry. And here's Ja'Cory Brown. And a movement before he can get that snap in this. He is a backup quarterback, and at times he'll come in a wildcat type look on short yardage situations.
False start. Offensive 51. 5-yard penalty. First down.
All right, let's check it with Wiley Ballard on the sidelines.
Well, Tom, speaking of Colby Young, he's come a long way from where he was 2 years ago. He had just graduated from Binghamton High School up in New York, and he didn't know where he wanted to play, so he took a gap year in the fall of 2020, then enrolled at Lackawanna Community College after a scholarship offer at Albany University did not come through. And now, 24 months later from a gap year, he's the top receiving threat on this Miami team.
Brown will keep it. That was Ja'Cory Brown to about the 40-yard line. Colby Young has been so impressive, James. 6 catches, 127 yards last week in the loss to Duke. And he will be a popular target for Garcia. There's no question about that today.
Yeah, and perhaps Brown as well. Ja'Cory Brown staying in there. They had struggled early in the season, short yardage situations. Virginia Tech, 3rd and 1 a couple times, converted with Brown at quarterback, but he can also throw it. We're going to find out here.
First toss is a short hop to Keyshawn Smith.
Switch it up as Garcia comes back in for Brown. It's a 3rd down and 11 now after that pass.
That was the first attempt of the season for Brown. First quarter ACC football from the University of Virginia. Cavaliers try to bring pressure. Miami picked it up for the moment, but not long enough. Aaron Faumui in the backfield for the sack for Virginia. Loss of 7.
You know, we highlighted Chico Bennett off the top, but this whole front for Virginia has been fantastic, putting pressure on those quarterbacks like Wiley Ballard told you earlier, and there's a hustle from Faumui coming around the edge. Cam Butler as well. Butler with 5 tackles and a sack against Georgia Tech in the win. And once again, getting off the field, this Who defense forcing another Miami punt.
Virginia, one of the top teams as far as sacks go in the league, over 3 per game. And that's 3rd in the ACC. Backtracking to make the play, Davey. And he turns it upfield and gets just past the 20-yard line. That was dicey for a moment on the return for Virginia.
Big boomer by Headley. Come to expect that out of the Aussie.
50-yard punt from Headley. Yeah, he's one of the best in the league.
See where that 94 be like the Rock? The Rocket punter.
Headley from Australia. He's 29 years old and still enjoying his college years. Wow. Time for a little trim, maybe?
Yeah.
Armstrong eludes the pressure. Comes towards his own bench. Dives for the 25-yard line. How about the pursuit and closing speed of Kitchens?
Yeah, to start with nice coverage in the secondary by Miami. And Brennan Armstrong knows as well as anybody, hey, when things break down, let me get what I can. Don't take that sack, tuck it and go. And a nice little pickup on 1st down for it didn't look like much was going on at all. Instead, you're looking at 2nd down and 5 now, and you can handle that all day long. His offensive coordinator, Des Kitchens, with the play call.
Armstrong's gone over 1,200 rushing yards in his career. That's 4th among quarterbacks at Virginia. Parrish Jones, the senior from Alexandria, Virginia, on a short run to about the 28-yard line. They needed to get just past the 31 for a 1st down, just 2 yards on the play.
Hold your water up front, Miami. It was a little close on what appeared to be a jump on the punt earlier by Virginia. Don't give them a freebie right here via the penalty flag. Make them earn it. 3rd down and 3.
Try to get it on the ground. Submarining up near the 30. That's Mike Hollins. Chains haven't moved yet. They needed the 31 or so. So that's about a yard short now on 4th down with the ball. Spotted right there at the 30. And so special teams in the punting unit for Virginia. Daniel Sparks, junior, transfer from Minnesota to punt.
He's been a nice weapon for Virginia. He's had quite a bit of practice. 3 punts inside the 20 against Georgia Tech last week.
Jacoby George wears 36 on punts, and he makes a successful fair catch right near the 25-yard line. So we'll take a timeout. 4:48 to go after a 45-yard punt from Sparks. Miami has the football, and there is no score. Coach Mario Cristobal in a deep conversation with the officials and our referee Jeff Flanagan. Miami does have the football after the previous punt by the Cavaliers as they came up just short on a 3rd down play. As that conversation continues, it's time for our Max Performance, brought to you by Z-Max, and it's the reliable and dependable Will Mallory at tight end.
Yeah, what a great touchdown. First of the year last week against Duke from Jake Garcia there early in the 2nd half. The senior tight end. Some big-time numbers through the years and big-time bloodline as well. His grandpa, Bill Mallory, the winningest coach in the history of Indiana football, was there 84 to 96. His dad, an assistant with the Denver Broncos. He can help out a guy like Jake Garcia, that's for sure, the leading receiver on this team, and it's quite the security blanket. A lot of quarterbacks, when they've got a tight end like Will Mallory in there, will look that direction. The senior leader from Jacksonville Providence School.
2 catches for 45 yards and a touchdown a week ago against Duke. In fact, Mallory's touchdown baits from Garcia early in that second half, that put Miami up in the game 21-17. Believe it or not, the Canes would not score again from that point.
Crazy the way they came out in that second half. It looked like a whole new ball game, but Duke hung on and they were able to drive the length. Look at Mallory there, and look at Jack Camper on that last play, 91 from his defensive end spot, doing a great job of shutting down the edge of that offensive line to make sure it was a short gain on the run try.
2nd and 9 for Garcia. Quick release, that is caught. Will Mallory right on cue, just short of the marker, perhaps by about a yard. He needed the 35. It's really, really close. Antonio Clary on the tackle of Will Mallory, 6'5", 245, and a senior. Clary giving up a few pounds at 6 feet 199. So it is 3rd and very short.
Well, and this has not been a gimme all year long for this offense. 3rd and short. They got stuffed on a 4.5 yard against Duke last week. Here from a pistol look, it's Jacari Brown.
Brown still has it. He's got room. Breaks the tackle. Past the 45. Jacari Brown with a first down for Miami.
Wow, fantastic job, and look at him read that end right there. Excellent job reading a carry. And then maybe the most dynamic runner on this offense, Jacari Brown, tucks it and gets it done on his own. First down and then some. Fresh set of downs for the Canes.
12 yards on the run by Jacari Brown, and Garcia steps back into the quarterback position. Little play fake, deep toss. Down the middle of the field, and again, it's too far. Keyshawn Smith. So now both teams have missed on a long bomb attempt. Slightly overthrown from Garcia.
This one a little. Virginia earlier, the hard play action pass and setting up shop. And Keyshawn Smith with the inside edge, but not much separation, and that's what coaches have been asking for out of number 5. He's dynamic, but can he separate for us? Can he separate from these defensive backs? A.J. Johnson, a tough one to separate from.
Garcia back to the air, to the sideline. Colby Young. Those hands are like Velcro. Anthony Johnson on the coverage, but that ball only in an area where Young could grab it.
Well, and this is a throw right here that it's tough sometimes for a backup quarterback to make, because they don't get all those reps with the first stringers, with guys like Colby Young. So Tyler Van Dyke, he makes that throw, and you might think, well, hey, how many times have they thrown that in practice? That was good coverage, and it was an even better throw and catch where only Young could come back to get it.
Another 3rd and short for Miami. 4-receiver look. Quickly to the left. Complete first down. Brashard Smith. And he scurries up near that Virginia 40. Maybe not quite to it, but enough for a first down. And Nick Jackson on the tackle.
Yeah, you see there inside, a good job by Mallory to help lock down the field. Young as well. Nice little play call for Josh Gaddis.
Miami trying to work some tempo. A whistle stops the progress of the play.
Prior to the snap, timeout was called by Virginia. First charge, timeout. Timeout will be 30 seconds. Please reset the game clock to 1 minute 49 seconds, please.
So Virginia has taken its first timeout of the first half. 1:49 to go in our quarter. Jake Garcia had to come in for the injured Tyler Van Dyke.
And this is pass number 1. I believe it was 72 yards there in the second half. It was 72 yards coming out of the halftime locker room to Young. And here's Will Mallory.
That was 34 yards, gents.
Yeah, some good work And Garcia was feeling it, baby. 2 quick touchdowns, taking the lead, Wiley. And, well, he's been running all over the country, not just the football fields here his whole career, hasn't he been?
He sure has, James. Right before COVID hit, he was in Los Angeles, his hometown. And then in August, before his senior year, it was announced California would not play football that fall. So he and his family thought outside of the box, and they actually moved to Georgia, where he wound up competing first for Valdosta High School, then Grayson High School, and won a state championship in December, enrolled in Miami the next month. So finding a way to get that senior year in of high school football.
Here's a reverse pass. It looked to be anyway, Wiley, and great job defending by Virginia. It was Brinson. For a second there, it looked like he wanted to throw it, but changed his mind wisely. Antonio Clary not fooled by it, and a bunch of other Wahoo defenders never giving up, even when he goes to tuck it and go. A nice swarm there and a 3-yard loss. And Wiley, back to Garcia. Well, I guess that's what Google can do for you. You can find the best programs in a state. He found one in Valdosta first. It didn't work out there. Legendary program, so he found one where he go win a state title up near Atlanta.
Garcia has his receiver one-on-one, and it's incomplete. That's the first look at Xavier Restrepo. Back from injuries, only played 2 games as Sanker was with him defensively. Quite a moment for Garcia in that high school state championship.
Yeah, rock and roll, dude. That looks like a combination of Slash and Axl Rose there in that picture. Yeah, celebrating with Grayson and celebrating Miami fans when they get Restrepo back to full go. He's on a pitch count today, but good to see 7 back out there.
3rd and 13 for Miami. They have made their last 2 third-down conversions in much shorter yardage. They try to get it on the ground, blasting past the 40, Henry Parrish Jr. Not quite enough, though, for the first down. They needed to get to the 31 of Virginia, 7 yards on the play. It's Jackson and Jackson, the law firm of Nick and James, combining on the stop, and Bennett in there as well. Chico Bennett, the transfer from Georgia Tech.
You know, nice play call here. Gaddis and head coach Mario Cristobal thinking it's 4-down territory. We're going to go for it on 4th down. Let's see if we can sneak one by him with a hard-charging Parrish. Good job defending. It's still a 4th down and 6. 1 for 2 Miami on 4th downs last week against Duke.
And 9 of 19 overall in the season. Once again, there's going to be a timeout called. Yes.
Miami. First charge timeout.
By Miami.
Timeout will be 30 seconds.
So Miami 9 of 19 in 4th down situations for the year. And with just 19 seconds to go in the first quarter, Miami, it appears, going for it on 4th down as we get a message from Works Nitro.
Meet Works Nitro. Powerful tools for any project with gas-like power without the gas. Fueled by PowerShare batteries to give you the power to outperform.
So Garcia is in there at quarterback with his first career start on the road at Virginia, coming off its first ACC win for head coach Tony Elliott. And then back home. In fact, this is the first of 4 straight home games, James, for Virginia.
Well, and after that timeout, Tom, they'll send Headley back in there. Virginia still needs to make sure they play this as a punt-safe situation. Not trusting this part of the field, especially when Miami was considering, prior to the timeout, going for it on 4th down and 7.
Headley, ooh, I thought, James, he was going to try to pull that one back. Inside the 5, and it eludes the coverage team and goes in the end zone. We've talked about this rule on several occasions, James. In college football, it is the ball breaking the plane of the goal line. The player can be anywhere. It's the ball breaking the plane. Couldn't get to it.
Well, Ivy gets down there, and he plays it right.
He does.
It just takes a bad hop. And exactly as you're taught on special teams. First guy down there, get to that goal line and get turned. And he's set up, but he judges it wrong, and it takes a hop towards the corner.
Now, just to be clear, though, Ivy can be in the end zone.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah, just keep that
As
ball.
long as you keep the ball out.
Yep.
That is complete opposite. That's Costanza style to the NFL rule.
But obviously, if you put your heels on the goal line, you know if it doesn't get past me, it's not past the goal line.
Absolutely. Incomplete. And Armstrong misfiring to Grant Mish. And James, I think that is the wrinkle this year for Virginia. Armstrong is just one adjustment off from his season last year where he threw for over 4,000 yards.
It sure seems like it, doesn't it? But and you know, and you watch from afar and you wonder, gosh, it's got to be frustrating, not just for Tony Elliott, not just for Des Kitchings, but especially for a guy like Brennan Armstrong, who's now 1 of 5, but they say absolutely not. He comes to work every single day like they're undefeated and like he's going to win a Super Bowl and just preparing harder than anybody around him. And you can't help but want to play hard when your leader, when your quarterback plays so hard and prepares so hard. But like you said, it's really been rough trying to find
5 Chevy dealers, as you can see, both of these offenses trying to get on track so far after the first 15 minutes.
Well,
so here at Scott Stadium, James, we have a very special guest that has joined us in the booth, Jim Phillips, the commissioner of the ACC. And Jim, I know you run just a crazy schedule. Is this your 23rd football game this fall?
It is, Tom.
Amazing. How do you do it? How do you do it?
I can't believe they pay me for going to 23
we
football
feel the same
games
way, so don't worry about it.
in the fall. It's been wonderful. And just so excited about the year that we've had to date in football. 5 teams ranked in the top 25 with 2 kind of receiving votes. We have just incredible competition across both divisions, and it'll be interesting to see how this second half of conference play kind of goes about.
It's been exciting on the football field, but you know what? Even away from football, when you look at, say, the Olympic sports in the ACC, I know you're so proud of these teams. 6 teams in the conference, either number 1 or 2 in the nation. And, well, right up the hill right there is where Todd DeSorbo and his women here at the University of Virginia, the number 1 swim team in the nation, where they do their thing, but proud of the Olympic sports as well.
No question. We're coming off a year, guys, where we won 7 national championships, the most of any conference in the country. We really take great pride in having broad-based programs, sponsoring 28 sports in the ACC, also another high water mark. It's about opportunities for young people, and you can come to an ACC school, get a world-class degree in education, and also compete for not only an ACC championship, which is tough to earn and win, but a national championship.
And every bit as tough on the hardwood. Here comes hoops. I mean, just no rest for the weary. All this traveling for football season, and it's right on into basketball, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm really excited about hoop season, both on the men's side as well as the women's side. We've had such a great run in our history of ACC basketball, and you know, both of those areas within the conference continue to be kind of at that gold level standard. Our basketball is as good as any conference in the country. And when you look at national championships, you look at teams in postseason play, every year we have a chance to win it all.
Well, and Mario Cristobal, you know, he knows all too well what kind of football is being played here in the ACC, and makes his way back here. Tony Elliott, a lot of new blood, if you will, there at the head coaching positions, and a lot of outstanding coaches, not just at the head coach spots, but these assistants, especially on both of these sidelines here today.
No question. You have 2 tremendous coaches, one with head coaching experience with Mario coming from Oregon, another with Tony, who came from one of the very best programs in the country at Clemson, paid his dues. So this is an opportunity for both of those leaders in our conference to elevate football within their respective universities.
And just to illustrate the success
we're having with a lot of football left.
Let's all enjoy this moment of 4th down and 2. Garcia and company going for it, Mr. Commissioner, or at least it looks that way. Uh-oh. Okay, they got a timeout called.
This is exactly what they did last time on 4th down, and they punted after they called the timeout as Headley came out and the punting unit came out for Miami. Again, it's such a wonderful, spectacular day, and I know you were here for the cross-country championships that were also held here in Virginia. Why don't you tell us the rest of your schedule as fall turns into winter and we head towards basketball and all the other great winter sports?
Well, just a shout out to Virginia and their staff for hosting the ACC men's and women's cross-country championships yesterday. What a glorious day for those amazing student athletes. Wake Forest won the men's ACC championship, and North Carolina State repeated on the women's side. We have 7 of our cross-country men's teams in the top 25, 5 in the women. So as we head to postseason play in that particular sport, nobody's got a better group of individuals and teams than we do in the ACC.
So it looks like Miami is going to punt here. Headley's back out. 13:36 to go in the second quarter. Commissioner Jim Phillips kind enough to join us. This will be a fair catch inside the 10-yard line. So once again, Commissioner, we appreciate you coming by. It is always great to see you, and best of luck to all of the teams in the ACC moving forward in the fall, in the winter, and then beyond into the spring. I know it's going to be an exceptional season.
It will be, and thanks, Tom and James, for your good work in understanding and relaying the importance of the game of football and how much that matters to our country.
It's a pleasure to be part of the broadcast and represent the ACC.
Thank you.
Jim Phillips, the commissioner of the Atlantic Coast of Independence, and I declare a first down for Virginia.
And quickly, as those chains move right over the ball, Billy Kemp. Good to see him out there making plays for Virginia in this offense.
Just the second first down of the game, and it's followed up with a sack by Miami. An orange and white wave topples Armstrong. Leonard Taylor lost his helmet in the process. Jafari Harvey as well, James.
I mean, just swallowed him up. Harvey and Taylor, as soon as he got that football, and showing you just the power that they have and the strength they have on that defensive front. Big drop after they finally get a first down, move those chains, going backwards now.
Agude was in there as well. Back the other way to Kemp. Catches it right off the top of the grass and then rolls up towards the 20. Darrell Jackson Jr. on the stop, 6 in white.
You know, this looked like it might be kind of dangerous. These offensive linemen get out there and set up shop. You know, nice looking play and a good job by Armstrong for that ball not to get batted down. But an even better job by the Miami defenders just knifing their way through there and not settling for being blocked. Darrell Jackson Jr., one of them right there to shut it down and force another big third down and long. Just 1 for 4 of these Cavs today on third down so far.
Armstrong 3 of 7. He'll run this time up the middle, puts the shoulder down and bashes his way to a first down in the 35-yard line for the Cavaliers.
Yeah, he's hurting a little bit, but it looks like he's going to stay in there. He takes a big pop. Again, nothing there for him. That first one that he ran for, the one other conversion, it looked like it was designed that way. This time, lowers his shoulder on flag to get that first down at the end.
That's another first down. Mike Hollins, back-to-back first downs on the ground, Virginia.
And when your quarterback puts it all on the line like that, he did the play before, it fires up the offensive line, it fires up these backs, and that time Hollins, who was out against Georgia Tech, does it.
Armstrong got away from the first man and gets to midfield. Hollins had gone for 14 yards to move the chains, and that's Armstrong avoiding a loss on first down out near midfield. Leonard Taylor putting the pressure on, and then Harvey finished him off. So the nose of the football, James, peering right over that 50.
Gotta come under control when you get back there, though. It's one thing to get past that offensive line, but you've got to settle, come under control, and drop it. Instead of a 4-yard loss, it was a 2-yard gain.
It's a little toss out to the left, and Paris Jones short of the marker by a couple of yards and inside the 45 for 8 yards. With Paris Jones, little old school toss there from Armstrong.
Tough fumble for Jones in the Georgia Tech game last week. 10 carries in that game, just 17 yards. And got to make sure he's holding on to that football. Nice little gain right there. 3rd down and short. Let's see if they can get another 3rd down conversion on this drive.
Through the air. Open man at the 40. Stumbling down was Jones. There is a penalty marker. If the play stands, it should be a 1st down. There is a penalty flag on the play.
Pass interference. Offense number 86. 15-yard penalty. 3rd down.
86 is Sean Wilson, freshman from Brooklyn, New York, and that negates a 1st down play for Virginia.
And there's the pick. You know, it's down there close to the line of scrimmage. It can get kind of ugly, and you got to make sure that you're not going out of your way to interfere and to force that pick. A good job by Paris Jones just to catch that football, but all for naught. So instead of another 1st down, it's 3rd down and 17.
9.5 minutes and rolling in the 2nd quarter. We are still scoreless. Those edges will bend. Armstrong steps up. He's on the run. And scurries out of bounds on the Miami side of the 50 at the 49-yard line. Tyreek Stevenson put up the roadblock, and Armstrong angled out of bounds. He got 7 on the run. It is 4th down for Virginia. Sparks, the punter, out of the field. Virginia averaging 133 yards rushing per game, 11th in the conference, and the rush wasn't quite good enough there on that possession to get a 1st down and move the chains. Well short. Jacoby George, the deep man. George, fair catch. Confident fair catch at the 12-yard line. Still looking for our first points. Miami takes over possession. No score.
First game here in Charlottesville at Scott Stadium for the first time in 5 years. Great to see his former quarterback and now associate head coach Marcus Hagans on the sideline. It's been a moving weekend for him and for the Virginia football community.
Absolutely, Wiley. And you know, he wants to make sure that more men know about it. He felt like if he would have, as soon as he felt something, he would have gone and gotten checked, that he would have been a lot farther along in stopping it. As look at this nice little run here on 1st down for Miami. That's what you need. Henry Parrish with a good-looking run to move those chains. Good job up front, too.
18 yards on the run by Parrish.
You know, just to finish up, and so just any men out there that may have some abnormality, make sure you get checked out. He's making sure that Zach Yarbrough, that he spreads the word. And, you know, if you're on Instagram, folks, at Zach Yarbrough Outdoors is a fantastic follow, whether you're a Cane or a Wahoo. He's actually lives in Florida. I mean, grew up in Florida, big fisherman, and making the most out of every single day. And he's a very inspiring follow on Instagram at Zach Yarbrough Outdoors. Give him a follow and give him some love. Great guy. Thank you, Wiley.
It's Parrish Jr. again for the 3rd straight time.
So here we go. 3rd and short one more time. It's 1 yard to go now for Garcia and the Canes.
Miami's had 4 drives and 4 punts. Trying to keep this one alive. That's plenty. That's up close to the 45-yard line. Lucius Stanley this time got 3. So Parrish so far has done most of the heavy lifting rushing. And then Lucius Stanley finishes off that 3rd down with 1st down. And to the 44-yard line for Miami.
Yeah, coming on the scene very late in camp. The transfer from UAB, Stanley, he had a good outing a couple weeks ago in the win in Blacksburg over Virginia Tech. From Fort Myers, Fort Myers High School, where prime time Deion Sanders went to school. Javon Curse
Garcia looking left all the way. Restrepo in between three dark blue jerseys. Catch and first down. Xavier Restrepo, the sophomore, and he got 11.
Gosh, it's got to be good for Jake Garcia to have number 7 back out there running these routes. So precise on his route running. Getting him healthy is huge. Cristobal said he'd be on a pitch count today, taking advantage of him when he's been in the football game. Second catch of the day, I believe.
Just the third game for Restrepo this season. That's Garcia bouncing up near the 40 of Virginia. Nick Jackson, number 6, the senior from Atlanta, Georgia, on the tackle of Garcia. 5:45 and rolling.
Yeah, Jackson, he's actually playing with that knee brace you see there on his left leg. Doesn't seem like it slowed him up at all either.
Not this season. He's averaging 10 tackles per game, 3rd best in the ACC.
Hurt that knee in the Louisville game.
Parrish the back. Fake to him. Garcia got rid of it. Colby Young caught it. Garcia with pressure right up in his grill. And he got rid of it.
I mean, as soon as he turns around, good job by 13 to get rid of that football as he's just popped by Cam Butler.
Veteran play by the redshirt freshman, James.
I'll say. That could have been ugly. Just last week, there were 2 fumbles from Garcia and one, I believe, from Van Dyke in similar type situations. The Oompa Loompas and everyone else hopping over there on the hill for this 3rd down.
I saw some minions, too. 3rd and 7 for Miami. Trying to extend the drive. They pick up the pressure. That ball's on the turf. Garcia went to throw it. Lost the handle. And there's some post-whistle activity as well between these teams.
Well, Chico Bennett is going to come through there. He runs right through the block of Parrish, drives Parrish right back into the lap of Jake Garcia. Miami lucky that they can bring out the punting unit, and Lou Headley pumped this one away.
Yeah, they lost 9. It was ruled a fumble, as Bennett definitely knocked that ball out before the arm started going forward for Garcia. So Kemp is the deep man, James, on the punt. Headley. He's been on the field a lot today. That's punt number 5. It bounces near the 20. Flag is out as it goes out of bounds. So Kemp was the deep man. There's a lot of commotion over there on the far sideline, James, and the officials having a little conference to figure this one out.
And on top of it all, dealing with the sun is never easy. Billy Kemp looking right into that sun, and did he?
There is no foul or kick catch interference. The player was blocked into the receiver. First down.
So that's the official word from Jeff Flanagan. Virginia has the football. Cavaliers and Hurricanes. No score. Driven also around the ACC highlights and stats as usual with the star of our program, James Bates.
Shouldn't we call it flown since he took the plane instead of a
Sure.
car?
Driven and flown. The Virginia offense would like to gain some traction. They've only had 4 first downs in the first half. That's 2 yards for Xavier Brown, freshman from Lexington, Kentucky. Most of the damage that Armstrong has done has been on the ground. As a rusher, he leads them. 8 carries, 39 yards. Wants to throw it, has to leave the pocket. Slides forward at the 26 or 7. And this is important because the 27 is the line to gain, and they rule him down at the 26 after a 7-yard rush from Brennan Armstrong. That look will tell you how the first half has gone.
Yeah, and this look right here will tell you on offense, the guy that's keeping all hope alive is wearing number 5 right now. Just grinding it out, doing all he can, laying it on the line, trying to move those chains and stay on the field and eventually get down to the paint. Just 2:40 left in this first half. Still looking for our first score.
Virginia 3-4 on the season, 1-3 in conference play. Is this going to be enough? It looks a little short to Billy Kemp. So Corey Couch on the scene to stop Kemp. And the punting unit is coming out.
I watched the linebackers go through their drills in pregame, and I looked at 23, and I said, well, wait a minute. This has to be the defensive backs. Corey Couch was just too bursty and too smooth coming out of his pregame drills. But no, he's lined up at that linebacker spot and come down in the box and going up there and making a play, a huge one, on a 3rd down and short to hold him short of that line to gain.
3rd 3 and out for Virginia in this first half. Jacoby George wears number 36 on punt returns, and he's up past the 45 to perhaps the 46-yard line. Steve Bracey on the special teams tackle. The punt was 42 yards. Maybe that's Wilhelmina Wonka leading the dance with the Oompa Loompas. Still looking for Punch to be a part of the ACC in this capacity. And James, I'm sure you feel the same way. And to make it to 100 games, I hope there's 100 more, and I hope you're with me, and all our crew is there too. But it's been quite a ride in the ACC.
Well, this is 3.5 years that I've been working with you, and I appreciate your hustle and your professionalism, and congratulations. I wish I had a birthday cake for you, but you never paid for dinner, so I just decided to have a cupcake on my own.
We'll rectify that moving forward.
All right, all right.
Back to the live action with 1:45 to go in the second quarter. Once again, I appreciate that recognition. So the teams have struggled a little bit here, James. We've had 10 total drives and 10 punts and just 12 first downs so far.
Struggled a little bit on offense. Defense is just fine. They're plenty happy.
Right. We talked about that Virginia defense, especially against the pass. Whoa! Going up at the 30 and coming down with it, Colby Young. And he continues to be a standout for Miami every week.
Yeah, the standout catch, and, good protection for Garcia. And how about the throw? That is a very difficult throw right there between the two defenders. Has to be right on the money, and it's right there where the big man can go up and get it and pull it down. Huge pickup for the 6'5" receiver from Binghamton, New York.
And looking right back into the sun and keeping the concentration. Right-sided Parrish, refusing to go down. He's just short of the marker near the 20-yard line. He got 9. They'll put the ball at the 20 on the cusp of the red zone here for Miami.
Good job, Canes, right over the ball, ready to snap it.
Drop for a loss. That was Parrish. Falmui got in there and made the tackle to Parrish to halt the momentum of this drive.
Falmui, the senior, the Hawaiian, has had a great first half, great season, outstanding career. Really, technician, does a great job with his hands. Bursts back there to drop him for a loss. So here's a 3rd down and short, 30 seconds left in the half.
3 of 8 on 3rd down. Garcia spun away from the pressure. Somehow he's fighting for the 19. It didn't quite get there. Back to the 20 for Garcia after the previous play. Lost a handful of yards, and now it's 4th down. I'll tell you what, that was determination and guts from Garcia to avoid the contact as he spun away.
I'll say a team that had 8 sacks last week, this Virginia defense, and some sure tacklers that Garcia. So coverage was an issue, and disguising coverages Duke last week had a lot to do with the sacks there on these Miami quarterbacks last week, and a lot of times when they were sacked, the fumbles, there's the coverage there, and they get to them, but able to get back up near that line of scrimmage. Jake Garcia, and here's Borregales for the field goal try.
10 of 13 on the season. He's made 6 of his last 7. Season long is 48 yards, and now there's a timeout taken by Miami, and that's its final timeout of the half. Never know what Miami's going to do on 4th down so far in this game. They've come out tried to go for it, then decided to take a timeout and punted it away. This time they have a chance to put the first points of the game on the board. There's only 2 seconds to go, James, in this quarter.
Well, that's why they sent the kicking unit back out there, lined them up so they could let that clock run down. It was sitting at 10 seconds. Make sure after this field goal attempt that there isn't any time left for Virginia to return a kickoff. It will be the Cavaliers that will receive to start the second half.
So this will be from 38 yards away for Borregales, who hit the upright last year in the game between the two teams in Miami, and a win on the road for Virginia in their most recent meeting. In fact, the last 3 meetings have been in Miami Gardens. There was a whistle before the field goal attempt and a timeout taken. Has to be Virginia because Miami just took its last one a moment ago. So the drama continues to build.
Points. They're scared of that end zone, huh? Yeah.
Well, Halloween is in a couple days.
Yeah. Tony Elliott, rather than taking those timeouts to the locker room, little bit of ice for the guy from Miami. Why not? You know, those guys from South Florida.
Wait a second now. Mrs. Claus on the scene. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, right, Bates? Let's deal with the field goal first from 38 yards away. That season long was against Southern Miss. A 48-yarder for Borregales. That was one of the 3 wins this season for Miami. They also beat Bethune-Cookman. Miami had a win on the road at Virginia Tech a couple of weeks ago. We had that one for you, then lost to Duke a week ago. Bates, not surprisingly, another timeout has been called.
Yeah, you know, it gives us a chance to acknowledge Clay James there in the middle of that pack, the long snapper out of Cocoa, Florida, Cocoa High School, who is on the list, one of the finalists under 58. He's in there somewhere. For the Warfel Trophy, outstanding long snapper, but also away from the football field, so much for the community. Let's see if he can help the Hurricane Nation get excited about 3 points here.
Borregales. It's good. Last play of the quarter. And Andy Borregales makes the field goal to put the Canes up at halftime. Gets the salute from his teammates. So Borregales improves to 11 for 14 on the season. He's made 7 of his last 8 field goal attempts and sends these teams to the locker room with Miami in front in the bright sunshine. Temperature in the low 60s. And let's go down to Wiley.
Coach, you got yourself a lead at halftime thanks to that last-second field goal. What has your defense shown you in the first half?
They've played incredible. They really have. And obviously on offense, we have not capitalized on that. And therefore, since they're playing so good, we didn't want to put them on a short field. They had done too well. So we want to give them the best chance to stay in this thing. And it gave us the opportunity to take the lead before halftime.
What have you seen from Jake Garcia, and what can you do to get the offense going in the second half?
Got to get them in rhythm. We've had some shots that were there. We didn't connect on them. We've got to get in rhythm. We started running the ball better as the half went off. Then we allowed penetration and got us, for a loss, too, when we were moving the ball.
Coach, thanks for your time. Tom, James, Miami moving the football there at the end of the half. We'll see what happens in the final 2 quarters.
Well, 151 yards in the first half for Miami, and the Borregales field goal from 38 yards away is the difference so far in Charlottesville. 3-0 Miami to the locker room here at Scott Stadium. Halftime is in your future. The national championship in Florida, you're going to like these highlights. Yeah. You might be the only one, but you're going to like it.
No, there are others as well. Both of these secondaries played very well. And needless to say, the front there, the defensive front for the Cavaliers have been fantastic this year. There's Chico Bennett forcing a fumble. Garcia able to get that one back. That wasn't the case last weekend in the loss to Duke. And how about the fight right here at the end of that first half? Garcia getting back up near the sticks. He made it interesting looking for that first down. Got the field goal out of it. Taylor and company have been fantastic as well. Messidor out for the rest of the game, we're being told, number 90. So that's unfortunate for these guys. Tyreek Stevenson back there in that secondary, one of the best defensive backs in the nation. The transfer from Georgia making plays. And when they're covering them and locking them down the field, it makes it that much tougher for a quarterback to find someone. You wait too long, and they're coming in. Heads are flying everywhere. Our game summary brought to you by Green Machine. And there it is after one half of play. Your stats, 11 possessions total and 10 punts total. Special teams getting it done, not only with the punts, but with the field goal as well by Borregales. There's the 2 of 7 on third downs for Virginia. Not a whole lot better. 3 of 9 for the Hurricanes. So, cleanliness will be winliness in this second half. We talked about it off the top. They have got to remain clean. No penalty. Want to give them any freebies down low. They've done a pretty good job with that here today, and that wasn't the case for that Miami defense last weekend against Duke. Well, with the, you look at the entire season, really, with this Hurricane defense that we're about to see trot out there. And easy to say on a lot of teams in college football, but I think it's especially with this Hurricane team. You know, you take away about a dozen of those defensive plays. There's some big plays given up. Go back to that Middle Tennessee game. This is a pretty solid defense, but they'll be without defensive end Hakeem Messidor in the second half today, unfortunately.
That's over the head of Demick Starling and into the end zone. So Virginia with just 96 total yards in that first half after they went for over 400 in that win on the road at Georgia Tech. Time for the Hardys Star to Watch, and it's Brennan Armstrong with the run so far today, James.
Yeah, a different kind of star he's been this season, and today anyway. You remember last year averaged almost 405 yards a game through the air and on the ground. Nobody else even close in the ACC. They go to the air right here, and a great job to attack that football immediately by the Hurricane defense. And Billy Kemp a little slow to get up. Misdirection, and you've still got the vice angles, the defenders outside and inside.
Caleb Johnson on the tackle, and that's a loss of 4. 2nd and 14 for Virginia. Keep in mind, Armstrong threw for almost 4,500 yards a season ago. 4th most in the history of the conference, and he's got very little available. Jafari Harvey stop on the run, and you can just see from the body language the frustration from Brennan Armstrong.
Well, you can also see perhaps the adjustments there at halftime, working with this defensive front, Rod Wright, Jason Taylor. How many times in the first half did we see those rush ends getting too far up the field? They kept those rush lanes locked down. Nowhere to go that time for Armstrong as he tried to slither out.
On 3rd down, open area and complete. Keaton Thompson right near midfield. And his first catch of the game, big chunk play for Virginia.
Nice protection here for Armstrong. All the time he needs, and plenty of time for the big man, the 6'5", 215-pounder, to find his way to the middle of that zone. The transfer from Mississippi State, Mr. Do Everything former quarterback, who actually was not too long ago, believe it or not, in a quarterback battle with Armstrong for the starting spot, but turning him into a big-time receiver now.
Going deep again. Wide open man inside the 10, and stumbling down was Lavelle Davis Jr. They're going to mark him at the 3. The previous play was 30 yards, and this one goes for 47 through the air.
We talked about in the keys to the game, payday. The big payoff with these speedy receivers, Wicks, Davis, Thompson, Billy Kemp, starting to put a couple big plays back to back, and Wahoo fans saying that's a little more like it. Lavelle Davis, a South Carolina product, and, well, Des Kitchings and Tony Elliott, both from South Carolina, where they grew up. So they want to make sure that number 1 has a big-time career here at UVA.
Inside the red zone, brought to you by CPI Security. And that play blown up by the Canes. Looked like Armstrong tried to shovel it forward to Thompson. They're going to lose 7.
Yeah, look at the penetration from Taylor. Leonard Taylor, as soon as that ball is snapped, he's 2 yards deep in the backfield. And Virginia just lucky that that football didn't end up on the turf. I guess it would have been an incomplete pass, but man, Leonard Taylor's been big time here in this game today without his partner there next to him, Akeem Mesidor, just a sophomore out of Miami Palmetto, and going back the wrong way, so it's 2nd and goal from the 10 net.
First time either team inside the red zone. Armstrong to the 9-yard line. No receiving options available. Jared Harrison Hunt on the stop for Miami.
You can tell by this first series the adjustments and the teachings that were going on at halftime in the Miami locker room. Defensively, what has hurt them? A couple big runs by Brennan Armstrong in the first half. They've squeezed down those rush lanes. They're not so fast on the edge to get upfield. I mean, sure, it looks pretty when you're fast and you're running, but if you're running by the quarterback and you're opening up everything for them, it doesn't help anybody. Good job coaching and good job by these players to take it out on the field to see if they can be sturdy on 3rd as well.
3rd and goal from the 9 once again. Armstrong has to improvise. He's got nowhere to go. Maybe back to the line of scrimmage. Mitchell Agude on the tackle. And now Armstrong is still down and clutching his face mask as he got hit near the 9.
See Harrison Hunt there. He doesn't go running upfield like we saw so many times in the first half, and then the end of it, you can see Armstrong, tough customer, and a lot of pain as he grabs that left leg. Great job by Agude on the other side.
It is 4th down. Remember, they had the ball down at the 3. They lost 7 on the little shuffle forward to Thompson, and then Armstrong trying to make something happen, and still down on the turf.
You know, looking at those replays, it didn't look all that ugly, but obviously a lot of concern right here for number 5.
Trying to walk off the field under his own strength, being assisted by the training and medical staff to the Virginia sideline. It is 4th down, and so Will Bettridge, number 17, is out on the field as Armstrong comes to his sideline. This will be a 26-yard attempt for Bettridge. He's 3 of 5 on the season. He has connected from as long as 47 yards. That came against Louisville. There was a loss here at Scott Stadium. Bettridge connects, and we're tied.
Good job by the Canes on deep block, and that 27-yard field goal was interesting but good.
So we had those 10 punts in the first half, and the last 2 drives have ended in 3 points for each team, and here we are early on in the 3rd quarter. Miami with the football. 3-4 on the season for Miami. Last week, losing to Duke at home 45-21, and we mentioned that they had the lead early in the 3rd quarter thanks to that man Jake Garcia with a couple of TD passes in for Tyler Van Dyke with an upper body injury. But that was it. It was Duke the rest of the way after Miami led 21-17 in the 3rd. They are 1-2 in conference play, 1-1 away from Miami Gardens, and they have an ACC victory on the road that came 2 weeks ago at Virginia Tech. Henry Parrish Jr. slams into the line for 3. Junior Carter, big number 90, 6'2", 313, and a junior. How about Miami, James? They've lost 4 of their last 5, including the Duke loss, a loss at home against North Carolina, Middle Tennessee, and a loss on the road at Texas A&M.
had to hang on for that win there in the middle of it all against Virginia Tech a couple weeks ago in Blacksburg. Hang on tight in the fourth quarter. There's Mallory close to the sticks, but it'll be a 3rd down and short coming up for the Canes.
They won at Virginia Tech, James, 20-14, had a 17-0 halftime lead, and they've now won 4 in a row against the Hokies. Jakari Brown is into the game for Miami. 3 of 9 on 3rd down for the Canes. This is 3rd and really short. Brown, the freshman from Valdosta. Oh, he's got plenty. Past the 40 and a 1st down. Jakari Brown. Chico Bennett on the tackle, 8 yards on the play, and that deserves some applause for a 1st down for the Miami Hurricanes.
Jakari says, if I do say so myself, and you know what's impressive, it's such a big body and a long body, yet he's got so many moves there within those tight quarters. So needed one, got a whole lot more. 1st down, Canes.
Rugged running again from Henry Parrish Jr.
You know, and I would not stray away from this. Parrish, you know, a little bit of a spark that you haven't seen too much of in the running game. And try to keep building it and use that momentum. And it certainly, when you're able to run that football, goes without saying. It helps that guy right there, Jake Garcia, immensely. That play fake opens up so many things for him when you got to respect that run.
2nd and 5. Blitz coming. He got it away down the sideline. A lot of hand fighting along that sideline, and all within the boundaries of the rules. Colby Young for Miami. Anthony Johnson for Virginia, number 3.
Yeah, Anthony Johnson, he's got to be a little bit more careful there. I mean, he never really turns his hips. They let him keep those hands on him, and done a good job of holding on to those flags there throughout the day, just letting them play football. Not much room over there on the sideline, so here's a big 3rd down and 5. Garcia's the quarterback, all alone in the backfield.
Trying to convert on 3rd down. He's got the time now, has to get out of the pocket. Throws on the run, deflected, and incomplete on 3rd down.
Yeah, Garcia able to use his legs a little bit more than Van Dyke, even though Van Dyke can be sneaky athletic on teams at times. And while he's on the fly, decides to try to throw it right there. And Nick Jackson, the linebacker, such a special part of this defense right there in the middle. Good job with the quick reaction to bat it down. And here comes the punting unit one more time.
After going just 4 of 12 on 3rd down in the loss to Duke a week ago at home. Unsuccessful on that 3rd down play. Billy Kemp has the fair catch at the 16-yard line. 8:01 to go in the 3rd. And remember, Brennan Armstrong went down at the tail end of the last drive for Virginia. Will he lead them out? We'll come back and see what the Cavaliers have tied up at 3.
Armstrong is out there on the field and will continue to play.
Well, opportunities. His head coach, Tony Elliott, preaches all the time these opportunities. You don't get too many in your life to go out and play for the University of Virginia or University of Miami, and nobody knows that more than Armstrong.
This is Brown, right side. Armstrong has thrown it for 92 yards so far in the game. That's after throwing for 254 yards in the win last Thursday at Georgia Tech.
Xavier Brown trying to get outside, and maybe would have been a little bit better had he ran behind that block outside. But you know what? That's just a good defensive play by Tyreek Stevenson, showing you why he's not just a great cover guy at corner, but very physical as well. Be interesting, actually, to see where number 2, a safety or a corner at the next level.
Ball start. Offensive line. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
You know, going back to just keeping it clean. You're looking at second down and short. Now you're back to second down and long after that nice pickup on first down by Xavier Brown.
Second penalty against Virginia sets them back. 2nd and 9. Closing in on the 7-minute threshold of the third quarter. Release and caught at the 30. Dontavian Wicks. Cameron Kitchens on the tackle. First down, Virginia.
Nice job, protection up front. They tried to run a game, and Taylor comes through late, but a little bit too late. Enough time for Wicks to break it off behind those linebackers, and nice job in the open field. Caleb Johnson, UCLA transfer, a senior open field tackle on a guy that's tough to bring down out there in space, Brennan Armstrong. So again, here's a 2nd down and 10 for Virginia.
Remember last year, James, this game between these two teams in Miami Gardens went down to the final play of the game. A miss from 28 yards away from Borregales, who hit the upright. It was the first win at Miami since 2011 for this Virginia program. A 30-28 decision on the road. Teams haven't played here since 2018 at Scott Stadium. Xavier Brown, the freshman, on the carry. 2018 was a win, an upset win for Virginia against then number 16 Miami, 16-3, before the arrival of first-year head coach Tony Elliott. 3rd down for Virginia. Let's see what they've done so far in the game. 3 of 9. Has not been a strength. 12th in the conference coming into the game, 32% in this situation. Armstrong dumps it off. Hollins makes a move at the 40. First down, gets a block. Mike Hollins trying to win the sprint to the end zone. He dives, and he's out of bounds. Out of bounds at the 3, Mike Hollins. What an effort to try to get to the end zone, and he comes up just 3 yards short as he steps out of bounds. 64 yards on the collaboration for Virginia.
How about the play call here by Des Kitchings? An interesting set. You've got a bunch set to the right.
First down.
The play will stay, and all the focus there for that defense on the left side of that defense at the bunch set, and of course on Brennan Armstrong, who has made this defense pay a couple times on 3rd down and longs with a 16-yard run and a 20-yard run. And they dump it to Mike Hollins, who missed that Georgia Tech game with concussion symptoms.
James, we're now inside the red zone, brought to you by CPI Security after the longest pass play of the season, 64 yards for Virginia. Trying to run it in. That was Brown. He came up short. Kind of lost a little bit there as they operate near the 2-yard line. Remember last time they were down to the 3 and then lost 7 on the shovel play from Armstrong to Thompson, and couldn't recover from that and settled for the 27-yard field goal from Will Bettridge. Inside of 5 minutes to go in the 3rd, James.
Nice job. Get low pad level by that defensive front on the first down there.
This to Thompson. They faked the toss out wide and then shoveled it to Thompson, and he comes up short once again. Ball now near the 1.
Oh, this is scary. Last time they did this little pitch here to Thompson, it almost went down. And again, right there near the goal line, they'll get a little bit, but not much there. As that front 7 for Miami staying strong once again, trying to force another field goal try as the Hoos get down low.
Virginia, little trick play, deflected and incomplete. So they went with a little wrinkle. It was Thompson trying to find Mish in the end zone. Incomplete.
Good job by Cameron Kitchens, staying home here to knock it down. Looks like it might have even gotten batted early on. And again, the Cavs lucky to have that football back in their hands, but no field goal unit out right here. It's a 4th down and goal. See what Kevin Steele's defense has got here on a big 4th down try.
Virginia's taken the timeout with 3:58 to go in the 3rd. That ball right down inside the 2-yard line. And the big play on this drive was 64 yards Armstrong, and then Hollins did the rest, James.
Nice move to start way back near the line of scrimmage as Kitchens came down in open field and tried to drop Hollins. You know, pretty good safety that you're going up against right there, making him miss. You know, that both of these teams looking for these playmakers. Make one guy miss, these running backs. Make one guy miss for me, and then we can get those big plays, get guys blocking down the field for you. Well, Kitchen's missing there. James Williams unavailable today as he was injured against Duke last week. 4th down and goal.
Hollins is the back to the right of Armstrong. Wants to throw it into the end zone. Incomplete. It appeared that Mish had a chance at that one. It falls incomplete. And Miami has turned back Virginia, although that appeared to be a pretty good opportunity.
It doesn't get any better. It's like, gosh, it's just too easy. And you know, things just, when it rains, it pours. And these drops and the teams going out when you've struggled so much, like both of these teams have at times this season. You know, it's hard to expect to make that catch and expect to win. That's where we're at right now. Thursday night. North Carolina will take on Pitt. Coastal clash later on tonight. So be careful with that football now. Jake Garcia standing in your own end zone.
Pitt won in overtime last season against North Carolina. Flag is out. And the rush up the middle, Henry Parrish Jr. Oh!
Oh, they're already yelling in your ear there, but there was
You scared me for a second, Bates.
Well, I was watching John Campbell wrestle with one of the defenders.
Offside, defense over 15. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
Chico Bennett spends a lot of time in the opposing offense's backfield. That time he was lined up there, trying to get a little extra jump.
Be sure to stick with us after the 3rd quarter for the 4th, brought to you by CPI Security with our star James Bates. So glad that you're with us. Wormy, Bates, Ballard, and our outstanding production crew. With you on the grounds of the University of Virginia. 3-3 at the moment. Miami led 3-0 into the locker room after the 2nd quarter. Henry Parrish gets cut down by the ankles. Just beyond the 10.
Personal foul. Face mask number 9. Defense. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. 1st down.
It's going to be on King. Senior out of Culpeper, Virginia, and that's a costly one right there. Body's banging. It's a 1st down, Miami. That's one way to get out of your own end zone and move it up with the help of a couple penalties on the defense and a fresh set of downs. A little bit of breathing room here.
Inside of 3 minutes to go in the 3rd. Garcia back to pass. Had an open man deflected. Near the 38. It's incomplete. Being ruled incomplete. Virginia had a chance at that one on the deflection. It's Trey McDonald. So close for 16.
Right over there by that Miami bench. It's a good call, and oh my goodness, went right through his hands. A little tip drill. It didn't work for the Who's there.
Young, sophomore from Binghamton, New York. We've documented his story at Lackawanna Junior College in Pennsylvania. They're known as the Falcons. Bates.
Okay. Bryant McKinney, another transfer from Lackawanna down to Miami. Things worked out pretty well for him. 3rd down and 6.
A flag came out along with whistles, and the snap hit the shins of Garcia.
Official 53. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Well, 53 is the center, James, right?
Yeah. Ja'Kai Clark, so I guess he moved that ball before he snapped it. Or did he say everybody but the center? We've had a couple of those. Wait.
So now it's 3rd and 11. Miami needs to get to its own 35-yard line. 4 receivers set, overloaded to the right. Garcia trying to pick out a target. That's up near the 38. Rashard Smith has the catch. If that stands, it's a 1st down.
Everybody in a blue jersey didn't seem to think so. And can't tell with that wristband on his leg there.
Yeah,
that was
could
the
be
ball.
12 yards.
That play is under further review.
So let's take a look at this one with 1:23 to go in the 3rd. Oh, it's a great look right here from our production crew.
It takes such a high, quick hop into his hands from that other angle, but the shadows make it a little bit difficult.
Look at Jackson almost get a fingertip on it as well.
Yeah, that.
I don't know about it.
It's. I don't think it's a catch.
Now here's the
but
issue,
with the
Bates,
shadows,
right?
and with that taper, that sweatband on his leg, you can't tell. That right there is your good look, and I think that's an incomplete pass. It was called a catch on the field, and look to it, everybody in a blue shirt around it.
I think the replay right before this one shows a clear bounce up into his. Right
here.
Watch the bounce.
Boom.
Up into his forearms.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you
Okay.
see how quick it hops?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's tough with that shadow. It's such a harsh shadow, and
It is a tough call, but the goal is to get it right, and I think that's what they've done in this instance. We're being told it's going to be reversed. Again, what I was saying is you must have indisputable video evidence to overturn the call, which on the field was catch 12 yards 1st down.
by 2 different officials.
Right. The jury has rendered its decision. Spot, you're saying, James?
I guess so, but
After further review, the pass was incomplete. And then 4th down, 11, on the 24-yard line.
it was almost like everybody else in the stadium knew it. We were like building the drama. So here comes Headley. Kane's hoping Headley can put some boot to it right here.
Just did get it away. Davey and Kemp deep. That's Kemp at the 35-yard line. Makes the fair catch. Let's take a break for a moment and get a message from Wrangler.
It's in.
Where's Waldo's? Plural. Well, I'll tell you where they are. Charlottesville, Virginia. For the 20th all-time meeting between these two programs. Armstrong puts on the brakes, releases, incomplete.
drives. And that goal to go, they were shut down on both of those drives. Well, one time they had to settle for the field goal, and then on 4th down, a drop in the end zone by Mish would have put the Cavaliers on top. A stand, if you will, by this defense.
That's a quick look to Thompson. He's fighting his way, shaking a couple of canes. Short of the 1st down, which is at the 45. They got 9 on the play. And referencing those last 2 drives prior to this one for Virginia, James, they're getting the chunk plays, which is something they haven't seen a lot of this season as opposed to last year when they had 75 plays of 20 yards or more. Chunk plays of 30 yards, 47, and 64 through the air. And you see Armstrong favoring the left leg.
Yeah, left the game just a little while ago. Went right to the 10th, but came charging back out for the next series. Here's a 3rd down. Looks like he got it, Tom.
It does, beyond the 45. And these are the waning seconds of the 3rd quarter in a game that is tied up 3-all. 2 yards enough. Near the 35-yard line of Miami.
There's a flag on the field, and I think it's going to be with the substitution. Miami got caught and lucky to even get out there. A few guys weren't set.
Illegal substitution on the defense. Substitution did not get off the field before the snap. That penalty will be declined. Result of the play is a 1st down.
Yeah. 2 guys there hustling to get off, not off in time. And Virginia, after that 1st down, opting not to substitute anybody, so they didn't have to wait for Miami to match, and they didn't. And it's costly Virginia a little bit of momentum heading into the 4th.
So that is the end of the 3rd quarter here in Charlottesville. Tied at 3. Cavaliers have the ball and on the move as we go to the 4th. Down near the 25, Billy Kemp beat Corey Flagg Jr.
What a catch. It looked like it was batted, maybe even twice. Wow. An official in the way.
11 yards on the play. After Virginia put together 180 yards total in the 3rd quarter, they only had 96 in the 1st half. 154 passing yards in that 3rd quarter. Still just the 3 points to show for it. Jones, hard cut. There's another one. Down near the 12. Parrish Jones, the senior from Alexandria, Virginia.
Good job up front by the big bodies, and then a nice cut and getting up the field for all he can for Jones. And it looked like maybe a little bit of a miscue there on the defensive front there for Miami with the gaps. Oh, Jackson Jr.
13 yards in the previous play. 1 for 2 in the red zone with the field goal. Armstrong to the goal line. Just short of the goal line. Incomplete. Lavelle Davis Jr. And there is a Miami player shaken up right on the goal line. Cameron Kinchens is down for the Canes.
That hurts. That's earlier already without James Williams.
It's an awkward hit on the shoulder as he collided with Davis. So we'll check on his status when we come back. Virginia threatening. Hovering around 3-3. Miami had a late field goal on the last play of the 2nd quarter. Virginia with a 27-yard field goal in the 3rd quarter, and that's where we stand. Virginia just threw one right down at the goal line. Kitchens walked off.
On it. Williams already out, and now Cameron Kinchens, the other young safety. 2 big guys and big parts of this defense. Not in the football game, catching such a good open field tackler.
Armstrong, design run. Trying to follow his block inside the 5. Virginia can get a first down near the 2-yard line. So now it's going to be 3rd and very short. Incompletion on first down. The run by Armstrong on 2nd down. They've had their chances down deep. Ball's at the 4.
After the turnover, they had the football down close and couldn't get in. Look at that. Wow.
Parrish Jones swamped and swarmed. Goudet. So Corey Flagg. Avante Williams.
There's a Goudet. Just gets rid of his would-be blocker. Goes helmet to helmet with Jones. Flagg's there to help clean it up. And once again, Virginia. Forcing a field goal try.
23 yards. Bettridge. Up and through. Virginia's taken the lead, 6-3.
We don't need any touchdowns, do we? They still sing the Happy New Year song around here. With a lead, Tony Elliott and his Cavs up by 3. Can their offense get things going a little bit here after this kickoff?
Wahoo's up 6-3. 2 field goals from Bettridge. 27 yards in the 3rd, and just moments ago 24 yards officially here in the 4th quarter. That's 2 for 3 in the red zone and a couple of field goals for the Wahoos. Smith, a couple of strides deep. Smith turns it upfield and then gets chopped down short of the 20. $20 yards on the return. It's Dave Herrard on the tackle and special teams. Let's get a message from Green Machine.
With our 60
yards in the 2nd half, there's a chance to change the storyline. 4 receivers in the set. Jakari Brown into the game. He's running. Short gain at best. Out to the 22 or 3 for Brown. He got 3 for the freshman quarterback from Valdosta, Georgia. Garcia in his first start, James, in a Canes uniform. 12 of 20, 100 yards passing. Miami's got 184 total yards to 306 for Virginia. Miami being held well below its season average of 444 yards per game, 3rd best in the ACC. Garcia lets it rip at the 25. Jacoby George, extra effort past the 30 and a first down, up to the 31 and 8 yards on the pass play.
Nice job by George, refusing to go down with a couple would-be arm tackles and running right through him to move those chains. George, big part of the return game for this Hurricane football team as well. Run after the catch.
Run out past the 35-yard line.
And Tom, there's a little bit of juice there in 21. I'm telling you, and it's every time it's popping. He's very bursty. You gotta keep him bottled up because he can break one.
Trying to break this one. Ooh, he got smashed at the 40. Blasted by Antonio Clary. College football is a violent game.
It certainly is, and he hits that hole hard. And he's hit hard, but it is enough for the first down, so they'll move those chains. And that's something you haven't seen a whole lot of throughout this season. It's been tough. And big reason Henry Parrish has been injured. They've had their fair share of fumbles. A couple guys hurt way back in camp. They're unable to run the football throughout the season. Hoping to get it going here in the second half and the fourth quarter today as time ticks away. Garcia play fake. Launches it. The coverage from Cohen King on Will Mallory, the tight end. Garcia has hit 7 different receivers in the game, but not this time to Mallory, the senior from Jacksonville, Florida. Yeah, Garcia gets popped, and again, lucky against Duke last week when this Miami team had 8 turnovers. These are the kind of plays that would have ended up in disaster. He's hit hard, taken to the ground, gets the ball off, and knocked down before it gets to Mallory. Canes with a second down and 10 now, still with the football. Garcia back to pass. High percentage throw. Parrish. Once again, he gets belted by Nick Jackson. I mean, there is some physical play going on, especially right now. And headgear going helmet to helmet. Big stop to Swarm after Parrish catches that football to force a great big 3rd down and 6. 48-yard line of Virginia is where the Canes need to be. Garcia dancing, eluding the rush, shoulder down, short of the marker. In fact, short of the 50. James Jackson on the tackle, severed in blue, orange, and white. A couple of times Garcia has not had a nice escape move, waits a little bit too long. And there's a guy, usually a sure tackler when he gets back there. Chico Bennett, the bandit backer. But he disrupts Garcia, makes him flee. And then there to clean it up is James Jackson. You could put a tackling highlight reel together on that last drive by Miami, by Virginia against the Canes. As they brought the heat and the pressure to force him into a punting situation. Headley once again. Fair catch, 11-yard line, made Billy Kemp. The Virginia defense has only allowed a field goal. The Virginia offense has 2 field goals. That's the difference. Just a shade under 8 minutes to go in the fourth.
Well, when last I saw him, he had his helmet strapped in. Let's see if he's on the field. He is. Well, good for the Canes on that update with Kinchin's back out there. But going deep into that defense, they're on the first play of this series. Sackett Wood with the reception off the throw from Brennan Armstrong, and a nice pickup of about 9 on first down, Wiley. 219 yards of total offense in the second half for Virginia. By Caleb Johnson, not before a first down for the Cavaliers. Yeah, you talk about the patience right there by Jones, and it almost looked like one of those delayed mesh plays that you get from Wake Forest all the time. Billy Kemp is injured. He was injured on the other side of the field. Tried to make his way across, but he couldn't do it. And a guy who's dealt with some injuries here this year, unfortunately. The senior had off-season surgery. He missed right after Wiley gave us the injury update for these Hurricanes. This time of year, guess that's college football. That's why you recruit that depth and have those young guys. Tony Elliott, and then on the Zoom call, he said, you know what, come to think of it, I have no idea what happened to that football, because he gave it to his sons. His sons were there at the game, and he said it's probably in their toy box. Armstrong wrapped up and dumped. Jared Harrison Hunt on the sack for Miami. No kidding around right here. Big 81. But these defenders, this front line for Miami, they've come through. And there you see Hunt. See him with the hand extension and then just pushing the offensive lineman out of the way right there in his face. I mean, whether it's Agude, Harvey, Jackson, Taylor, Messidor, who's out right now, Harrison Hunt. And when they get back there, they're coming back there and they're nasty.
Kevin Steele, the defensive coordinator for Miami, liking what he saw in that last play, and now penalty markers are out. 3 of them.
Infraction. Number 51 on the offense. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Penalty against Virginia as we go down to the sidelines in Wiley.
Well, James, following up on your point about Miami's defensive line, that's a group that brought in 5 transfer defensive linemen from last season. And I was down on the sideline for one of those most recent goal line stops, and they were really fired up. Coaches talking about how it's the best defensive line in the country. That's a group that feels very confident in their ability right now in this game.
Yeah, and great technique, Wiley. Not only are they athletically, they fit the bill, but they have great technique and well coached.
Thompson, 25-yard line. So we got back most of that 7-yard loss on the sack by Harrison Hunt. In fact, he got exactly 7.
There's that quick throw to big 99. He's got some blocking outside and makes one guy miss, but whole lot of work to do, and it's still 3rd down and 14. And again, you got to take care of this football. Your defense is playing some pretty good ball right now.
Armstrong with time. The pass. Thompson with the leap, and it went through his hands and incomplete. Stevenson was back there defensively for Miami, so the clock stops with 5:42 to go in the quarter.
Well, first of all, a catchable ball for the big man Thompson, and then off of the deflection, one that Tyreek would like to have back, almost picked it off. Instead, out to punt one more time, Daniel Sparks, the junior for Virginia.
That disappointing reaction from Brennan Armstrong. Had a chance at big number 99. Jacoby George backtracking. He's got some room on the right side. Past the 40, quality return almost to the 45-yard line. So acceptable field position for Miami. See what they can do with it. Only 208 total yards in the game for Miami.
Look at Jacoby George over there. I mean, poor guy. He's got to put that jersey on. And then he needs a couple guys to help him every time he changes it up. And there you see the offense throughout the season and then today. And it's been quite a roller coaster for Mario Cristobal and his offense, led by offensive coordinator Josh Gaddis, of course, without their starting quarterback Tyler Van Dyke today, hoping they'll get him back.
Had the right man down there in Colby Young. Anthony Johnson defended it well. Colby Young is 6'5", 215. Johnson gives up a few inches, but does not give up on the play.
Yeah, just as Miami had the right man down there, Virginia had the right man down there as well. Excellent job by Johnson to just wall off a great receiver in Young. He never allows any space in between him and that receiver. Goes up at high points of football, almost has an interception.
Garcia surveys the landscape, throws a strike at the 45-yard line. That's Brashard Smith, the sophomore from Richmond Heights, Florida, for 12 yards, and that'll grease the chains and move him for the Canes. Garcia, poise and composure in the pocket, and he delivers, Bates.
Yeah, throws a strike to a guy that we're glad to get healthy, and Restrepo healthy as well here today. Haven't seen too much of him here in the second half. They didn't want to run him into the ground, just fresh back from injury.
Stiff arm, Parrish. Parrish up close to 35. They'll mark it at the 36 of Virginia. And that's 7 yards. Second and very manageable right now for Miami. In fact, this might be an opportunity, James, to dig into the playbook a little bit.
Well, and reason being for Mario Cristobal is you've got a little bit of a spark there at the running back spot. Excellent run by Parrish. Looked like he was going to be dropped for a no-gainer. Not only does he run through that tackle, but stiff arms a couple guys and packs on some nice yards for this 2nd and 3.
Garcia. That's incomplete. James Jackson was defending. Looking for Brashard Smith again. Good timing on the contact by James Jackson. Third down.
And again, dodging these bullets when it comes to the turnover game. Jackson there a little bit early, breaking on that football. No flag down, so we'll go to third down, one that's almost intercepted. But one more chance at it right here for the Canes.
Third best offense in the ACC has been kept out of the end zone by the Virginia defense, working on 7+ quarters without allowing a touchdown. The Georgia Tech touchdown last Thursday was a defensive touchdown. Second and third efforts. That's Parrish. Move those chains for Miami at 6 yards.
Parrish behind those great big pullers coming around there, Rivers and Campbell. And then he does the rest, gets stood up right about the line to gain, but keeps on driving. 5'10", 190-pound sophomore showing you some strength. He won the Nat Moore Award his senior year at Columbus High School, the top player in all of South Florida. Here he is again.
Just a marvelous run on third down to get the first down, and he gets positive yardage this time down to the 26-yard line. James Jackson on the tackle.
We've seen a little bit of Lucius Stanley in the game at the running back spot here. Thad Franklin's another guy that didn't see last week, haven't seen in this game, and haven't seen Jalen Knighton in this game, but you haven't really needed him with 21 running with a purpose behind that offensive line, opening up some holes.
There's a hole to run through for Stanley. He's moving that pile inside the 15.
Nice job again, Campbell and Rivers on the move. Kicking out that end, Big John Campbell, the junior from Dr. Phillips High School there in Orlando. And Lucius Stanley, we've seen him a few times over the last few weeks. He's got a little bit of juice to him as well. The Fort Myers, Florida product. A fresh set of downs here for the Canes with 2:20 left to play.
Garcia handing off. Lucius Stanley, 6'1", 210 pounds, and a senior. He'll come out of the game. Reinforcements come in.
Well, Mario Cristobal, part of 2 national championships at Miami as part of the offensive line. So, you know, he's got to enjoy seeing his football team able to move it on the ground.
Stressing to his team this week the value of every single snap in college football and its importance. Well, it's getting real important now. 1:43 and rolling for Miami, 2nd and 7. They have a first down near the 3-yard line.
Nice job. Look at those white jerseys, the white helmets up front, winning those one-on-one battles. Just chest to chest, and who wants it more? And on this drive on the ground, it's something that you haven't seen all year. And you go back and think back to the Virginia Tech game a couple weeks ago in the 4th quarter. If Miami could run it a little bit of what we're seeing right here, they would have run out that clock, and it wouldn't have been near as interesting there at the final whistle. They're putting it together right now, thanks in large part to a healthy Henry Parrish and an offensive line that's in a little bit of a rhythm, feeling pretty good and feeling strong right now, late in this 4th quarter.
Yeah, Parrish started the game as the leading rusher for Miami. 2 weeks ago in the win on the road at Virginia Tech, he was unavailable. Came back last week against Duke. And he's done the bulk of the work on the ground for Mario Cristobal's team. Struggling rushing the ball this season, 12th in the conference, but not on this drive.
Jakari Brown back at quarterback.
Freshman quarterback Brown is in there. First and goal. Trying to forge his way up the middle, and that's a committee tackle for Virginia. Short of the goal line. Keep an eye on that game clock as well. Just a yard. Clock stops with 1:19 to go as Virginia is taking a timeout.
There's Tyler Van Dyke. You know, that's one thing that's been interesting about Mario Cristobal. These guys that have been injured, the leaders on this football team, in recent weeks, Restrepo, Michael Redding, another receiver. He wants those leaders on the road, even though they're injured, even though they won't play. Tyler Van Dyke, it's important for him to be around these younger players, help them prepare for these games. And hopefully he can get healthy for these Canes here down the home stretch of this football season. Second down and goal for his backup, Jake Garcia. Henry Parrish in the Miami Hurricane offense trying to punch it in and take the lead.
So Virginia just spent its last timeout. 1:20 on the clock. Second and goal for Garcia and the Hurricanes. Trying to run it, tripped up. About the 1.5-yard line, Henry Parrish, not a lot on the carry. So now that sets up third and goal from in tight for Coach Cristobal and the Hurricanes. What do you like in the playbook here, Bates?
Well, no rush at all. Remember against Virginia Tech, they snapped the ball with so much time on the play clock. Let that play clock tick on down. If you do get it in the end zone right here, I would. Here's a flag coming down now. Is substitution.
Illegal substitution on the offense. 12-minute formation. A 25-yard, 10-second runoff.
Wow. Wow. Well, that changes things a little bit. I was going to say, you've had so much success running the football, and it hasn't been all the penalties that we've seen a few times here this season. 17 against Virginia Tech a couple weeks ago.
C73 right side of the screen, James.
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be in there. Too many men. And so knocking on the door, and now you're, I guess, on the front walk of that end zone. Still Cooper. In position where you can kick that field goal, but I'd like to think that on third down, back-to-back run plays the way you've run the football finally on this drive, you run it twice, and I like the chances of Miami scoring a touchdown. Instead, it's a whole new ball game as they back it up for Mario Cristobal and Josh Gaddis. Still with 3 timeouts left for the Canes if they need to talk it over after this third down call.
37 seconds left on the game clock. By the way, Parrish has gone over 100 yards rushing. 102. Third time this season he has broken the 100-yard barrier rushing.
And what this takes you away from as well is you're down there close to the goal line. It's all eyes on Parrish, and a hard play-action pass can open up a lot of things, drawing those linebackers in. You know, now you're able to play a little bit softer and not so aggressively against the run defensively. What have we seen in recent weeks in these similar type situations? Colby Young, the big body, watch for him. He's had some great one-handed catches, one of them in the end zone.
5 catches today for Colby Young, James.
And of course, Mallory, the tight end.
Start on my signal.
So the drive is now 11 plays, 48 yards. It started at the 5:29 mark of the fourth quarter. There's only 37 seconds left in regulation. Ball's at the 7. Third down and goal for the Canes. Of 14 on third down in the game. Just trying to sort out the clock. They're trying to apply the runoff after the previous infraction. That's Jeff Flanagan, our referee. He's over to Cristobal to have a conversation.
So of course, Miami just fine with that runoff and timeouts with 27 seconds remaining. But, you know,
Canes are 1 for 2 in the red zone as well, James. That's their only points. The 38-yard field goal in the second quarter. The ball was right on the 20 when Borregales kicked that field goal at 38 yards in the second. That was the last play of the second quarter. We're down to our final few plays of the fourth. So this has been an extended delay. So if nothing else, the players have gotten like a 5-minute breather here.
Little intermission.
And now
I think they might be having a little bit of trouble with the runoff. And Tony Elliott.
You see him escort Flanagan right to the review area.
Huh.
It's like, please, Jeff, go check this out. And again, the sequence of plays was that Miami had an offensive lineman, Andres Cooper, who was trying to get off the field. And they threw the flag on the illegal substitution against the Canes, moving the ball back out to the 7-yard line. Had a couple of running plays in close. Couldn't get it to the end zone. And the penalty.
When the play was over, it was 47 seconds. The play qualified for a 10-second runoff. Miami does not want the runoff. Okay? So the clock will stay at 47 seconds. And the clock will start on the snap.
But it was Miami that was penalized there. So Miami shouldn't have the call if they want it or not.
Well, the clock says 47 seconds, James. It's 3rd and goal either way. 3 receivers to the left for Garcia, and we're still not ready to snap it.
So here's where the confusion is. We still have 3 timeouts on the board for Miami. They can use a timeout to avoid the runoff. I just don't understand why they would be so concerned with it. With a 3rd down and goal, it's not like they can get a 1st down, and they have all those timeouts.
Please reset the game clock to 37 seconds. The clock will start on the last segment.
So if we see 47, 37, and 27, I guess we're going to split the difference.
All the 7s. That's that 7 society. It's very secret hush-hush. It's true. One of the secret societies here in Charlottesville, and you don't talk about it.
By the way, it's over 8 minutes since we've snapped the ball, so both teams well rested for this 3rd and goal. 35 seconds, now it's rolling. Play clock down to 5. Now a timeout by Miami.
First charge, timeout.
So the clock's down to 14 seconds.
Where are the Oompa Loompas when you need them? They all left. They're not even over there making noise.
So Bates, I mean, my guess here, you take a shot at the end zone. You got time. You take the shot at the end zone. If that's unsuccessful, you kick the field goal. You leave Virginia with almost no time to respond, and you take it to overtime. That's the thought, I guess.
Well, you've got timeouts. If you've got a play that you really like, getting the ball in the hands of Parrish, even through the air, I kind of like that as well. I just like the effort that he's shown here late in the 4th quarter with his hands on the football. He's provided such a spark. Just got to be careful and at least give yourself a chance to tie this football game. Do not turn the football over be safe with it as you try to put it in the end zone.
First snap in almost 10 minutes of real time. Looking for the end zone. That's Parrish. Submarines his way just inside the 2. Cristobal runs out to the official. That was 3rd and goal, and now they'll utilize a timeout with 2 seconds on the game clock. So they chose not to throw it into the end zone, but try to run it with Parrish.
You know, Tom, here,
3 seconds.
easy to call it from the booth, but with the 10 minutes that we had in between the last couple plays, you know, use that timeout,
right?
But it's hey, they haven't shown me Virginia's defense, and Coach Rudzinski's defense has been phenomenal the last few games. They haven't allowed in almost 2 full games a touchdown, but they have been unable to stop the Miami running game here on this last drive, but they look to tie it up right here and to take it into overtime with 3 seconds remaining.
It's all on the foot of Borregales to tie this game from 20 yards away. Borregales has tied it. I hesitated for a moment, James. That was a sharp angle on the kick.
I don't know if it's where we're set up in this booth, but a couple of them had looked like, oh my goodness, this
wow,
is too close for comfort.
Borregales knocks it through for his 2nd field goal of the game. He connected from 38, that from 20.
It won't be a factor.
Oh, where did they go?
Yeah, where did they go?
How can you lead? We're in overtime.
I know it. All right, here come the Canes. Parrish in the backfield next to Jake Garcia.
Each team will get a possession from the 25. Under 25 yards through the air for Garcia, 15 of 26 in regulation. Running game, Parrish bouncing to the outside and twisted down. 3 and 4 blue shirts led by Jonas Sanker, the sophomore from right here in Charlottesville, Virginia. Just a yard.
Haven't called Sanker's name much today, but the strong safety has been a huge part of this football team. The sophomore from the Covenant School right here in Charlottesville played 8-man football in high school. He was a very important man right there to make sure he dropped Parrish before he got it turned north and south.
Canes have lost 4 of their last 5, but they have a heartbeat in overtime. After the Borregales field goal in the final play of regulation. All kinds of pressure. Garcia got it away to the end zone. It's incomplete. And a clean play in the end zone. No markers. And once again, Sanker was back there with Brashard Smith.
Yeah, Sanker banged up. The Who's brought the blitz. Great job, the protection, so plenty of time there for Garcia. Nice coverage by Sanker. Here's your 3rd down and long now.
Miami's possession of the first overtime period. Garcia staring at that sideline for further instruction. Play clock down to 5. They just do snap it with a 2nd on the play clock. Garcia unloads down inside the 5. And Virginia had the best chance at that one. Fentrell Cypress got his hand on it, looking for Colby Young for Miami. 4th down.
Nice push up front. They almost get to Garcia. Enough to disrupt him a little bit. Great coverage down the field by Cypress. The junior out of Rock Hill, South Carolina, has had a couple big breakups in this game. Almost had a huge pick in overtime. And not ideal for Borregales. 1-yard gain to help him out as he tries to score the first points in this first overtime.
This from 42, season long is 48. Borregales through the uprights from Miami. connects on the last play of regulation. And here in the first overtime, the Canes take a 9-6 lead.
Again, nice snap and hold, and just drilling it. Borregales, great job. And I believe I called Mason Napper earlier. Clay James marked at the long snapper spot, but Mason Napper, the Warfel Trophy finalist, snapping it to get it started, and the punter with the good hold in Headley. And Borregales puts him up by 3. Great job by the defense of Virginia once again. John Rosinski, the defensive coordinator, still keeping him out of the end zone. Here's Brennan Armstrong's shot.
Armstrong trying to run it, grabbed around the ankles and brought down. Maybe one. Caleb Johnson in there. Boy Flag Jr. as well. How about the effort by both of these defenses today? We have not seen a touchdown. And in my previous 99 games, James, of calling ACC football for Bally's and Raycom, I don't remember a game without a touchdown. It may be that a TD decides this game. Remember, if Virginia scores a touchdown, the game is over. Of course, they need at least 3 to extend it into a second overtime. 5 of 14 on third down in the game.
Interesting play call here. The fake pitch, try to send those backers out after the sweep. Flag staying home and making a nice open field tackle to force this third down. Otherwise, Brennan Armstrong may have the first down. Good play by number 11. Here's your third down.
Lavelle Davis Jr. in motion. Jones is the back to the right of Armstrong. On third down, the left-hander eludes the contact, but then he gets taken down at the 25. Leonard Taylor, and that's significant because the field goal attempt pushed back with the loss on the play. They lost 4.
Leonard Taylor, and again, these rushers for Miami, they have done a lot better job of locking down those rush lanes. And here's Taylor, who's not going to make it deep into the backfield, but instead shucks his blocker, steps off, flattens, and able to drop Brennan Armstrong.
Will Bettridge, after the 4th sack of the game by Miami, from 41 yards away to extend this football game. Bettridge knocks it through. He's 3 for 3 in the game. Let's go to OT. Number 2 tied at 9. The Cavaliers and the Canes got to play more football. Jared Raymond, the holder. Bettridge, who took over the kicking duties for Brendan Farrell this season. Bettridge 3 for 3 now, James. He is 6 of 8 on the season. How about the nerves of the freshman? And guess where Bettridge is from? Miami, Florida.
Oh!
How do you like that twist?
Yeah, you can bet that.
I'll take mine with a twist. Once again, a refresher course on the overtime in college football. We just saw the first OT. Now in the second OT, if you score a touchdown, you must go for 2. If we get to a third overtime, it will be just 2-point conversion attempts from the 3-yard line. And now Virginia will start with the football in our second OT. First and 10 from the 25. Armstrong. Maybe a yard or so to the 24. Jared Harrison Hunt on the tackle of Armstrong.
Hard fought against this hard-charging defense. A designed run play for Armstrong. And boy, has Miami done a good job here in the second half. He was the only thing that really hurt them on the ground in the first half. He's hurt him a little bit here in the second half with his arm. Let's see if they go to the air right here. Miami walked up showing 4 men coming. Jafari Harvey skips it.
Incomplete to Wicks. Short hop at the 20. So Armstrong, James, has rushed the ball 20 times in the game. Now, he's been sacked 4 times as well, but he's officially credited for 20 rushes, 67 yards as the leading rusher for Virginia today.
And again, here's a situation a couple times in the first half where you had some defensive linemen trying to be the guy. Play within this scheme, because a 16-yard run, a 20-yard run in the first half on a 3rd down and long by Armstrong when they didn't bottle him up.
Pressure from the edge. He slings it down near the goal line, deflected away. Cameron Kitchens, number 24, looking for Wicks. That's incomplete. It's 4th down.
Nice job. And again, nice job by the pressure. Kitchens, glad to see him back out there after he was helped off the field earlier. Great break on the football, reading the eyes of Armstrong. One more time.
Same exact distance. 41 yards away. Will Bettridge hits the upright and good. Off the left upright and in for the freshman. He's 4 for 4. 2 field goals in overtime, and both from 41 yards away.
Boys and girls of every age, wouldn't you like to see something strange?
Oh my
goodness. Halloween weekend, getting it started the right way, huh?
What an awesome replay to take a look up at that upright. Heavy metal for Bettridge, and it's good. Take a deep breath, because we're not done. Now the Canes turn. Number 17 is 4 for 4. 27 yards, 24 yards, and 2 from 41 yards in each of our overtime periods. Canes with the football. Gonna need at least 3 to extend this game. Parrish behind his blockers on the right. About 2 for Parrish. That is a hard-working running back for Miami today, James. 109 yards rushing on 23 carries for Henry Parrish Jr. This is our 2nd overtime. Miami's possession in this OT. Virginia just kicked a 41-yard field goal to take a 12-9 lead. Garcia back to pass. Diving attempt incomplete near the 15, and that was Keyshawn Smith. 3rd down, Miami.
Smith asking for help from the sidelines, a little bit banged up. He's going to have to run out. This, a ball thrown out there, a play call where it's like, let's throw this one out there, put it where only Keyshawn can go grab it, little off the mark so it hits the ground. Just want to be careful with that football. Obviously a turnover, and it's ball game. Virginia win. We got to take care of that rock. 3rd down and 8.
Timeout. Miami. That's the final timeout of this period.
Borregales already 3 for 3 here today, so you've got a field goal kicker that can put it through and just live to play another overtime, but do not turn the football over.
Prior to this season, the last 3 meetings between the teams had been at Hard Rock Stadium. A win for Virginia last year. Remember, Borregales missed that 28-yarder at the end of regulation. 2020 was a 19-14 win for Miami. Back in 2019, a 17-9 win for the Canes. Once again, off the pipe, Bettridge. I mean, that is a moment for that freshman. And that man, the freshman coach here in the ACC in Virginia. 2nd overtime. 3rd and 8, Miami. Parrish stepping out to the right. Tackled short of the line to gain, down near the 15.
Virginia defense has done a better job here. Upper hand there for a little while. And able to shut down Parrish.
Borregales, 37-yarder to send us to our third overtime. From 37 yards away. And it's good. Bates, how do you feel about triple overtime?
Hey, I'm loving it. Every time we come to the Commonwealth up here, we're destined for a good overtime. A couple years ago, we had the 6 OTs, and believe it or not, I just saw a great big old grin from head coach Mario Cristobal after that one went through. He's having a good time. 4 field goals apiece. Watch closely. Oh, there it is. See the teeth? I told you. Everybody's loving it. Why not? So now, though, we're going straight 2-point conversion as we've changed those rules since we had that North Carolina Virginia Tech game a couple years ago over in Blacksburg that went to 6 OTs. Now we're in the third overtime, and we have to start with a 2-point conversion try, and they will alternate, a lot like baseball, a top and a bottom of every inning, if you will.
So you see at the very bottom of your screen there, the teams alternate 2-point conversions in the third overtime and beyond, if that is so needed. 12-12. So Borregales now has made it from 38 yards, 20 yards, and then in overtime, 42 yards and 37 yards. So the kickers have been ultra clutch on this Saturday for their respective head coaches. Bates, I'm nowhere near the field, and I have butterflies like you wouldn't believe right now. This is amazing. Amazing afternoon. No touchdowns. And we won't have a touchdown because it's all 2-point conversions from this point forward. Parrish the back. Miami in triple overtime. Garcia looking to the end zone. And that is picked off in the end zone. Antonio Cleary. So an unsuccessful 2-point conversion for Miami in its half of the third OT.
Plenty of time for Garcia. They do a good job protecting for him up front, an even better job in the back of that end zone. And of course, they're looking for Young across the back and leave it up to a guy from the Sunshine State, Antonio Cleary from Duval, Jacksonville, to intercept it. And a chance for Tony Elliott and the Who's. And win number 2 in ACC play. Oh, that doesn't help. Well, maybe it does, giving you a little bit more room. Things get tight down here.
Multiple plays on the offense. 5-yard penalty. We'll continue with the try.
Miami will defend with that ball moved out close to the 8-yard line. Virginia got its first road win of the season last Thursday at Georgia Tech. They're looking for their third home win. And first in conference play right here if they can convert this 2-point attempt.
Yeah, it's a 2-point attempt. This isn't a series.
Armstrong to the end zone. Stevenson defending, incomplete. Overtime number 4 is on deck.
That's good on good right there. Dontavian Wicks and Tyreek Stevenson. Doesn't fall for that inside jab right there on him. Armstrong drops it in there perfectly. Stevenson able to help rip it away as Wicks goes down. Had his hands on it, Would have been a catch with that foot coming down in the end zone. Great job of not giving up by Stevenson as he had a little bit of space in between him and the receiver. And a nice throw by Armstrong. Wicks unable to control it, so the offense will stay out there as we head to overtime number 4. And we're going to alternate these 2-point attempts now for the rest of this game.
Jones is the running back. Kemp's in motion. Armstrong forced to the left, throws it back of the end zone, out of bounds. Lavelle Davis Jr. running out of real estate in the back end of that end zone. And now Miami here in the 4th overtime has a chance to win it.
And look at these defenders putting the heat on Brennan Armstrong, making sure that he knows running that football isn't an option. And passing it with 15 and 23 back there defending isn't much of an option either.
Yeah, Williams and Couch back there. Tight end broke away for a second, James, but he was just too far away. Couldn't throw back across his body. And now the 2-point conversion to win the game for Miami. Garcia still has it. He's trying to get to the end zone. He dives, and he's got it. Miami wins in 4 overtimes.